David Lee. Is David here?
Yes.
Yep. Hi, David.
Morning.
Come and make yourself at home, and you've got 10 minutes, if you're okay with that, to tell us.
Can I give you some more of this information I've got here?
Yeah.
I'll have to put together again.
You can give us whatever you like.
I'll give you a copy.
Thank you.
I'm mainly going to talk on what I handed out to you here. While you're handing it out, stormwater. I'm mainly going to talk about stormwater flooding, which is probably dealing with me mainly. It's a complex issue, and it's quite complex to explain, and it's covering quite a big area. I'm not sure I can put it together, but I'll run out of time, and sometimes it's quite hard to put things together. You have to bear with me if I make a mistake in what I'm doing. Have you all got a copy? I'll start reading here. The stormwater flooding, this is the main issue for me. Our livelihood is affected, and we are struggling to grow crops, and everything we sow and plant, we do not know if we will harvest our crops. We have lost so many crops this year, it is causing us a lot of stress. The incoming spring we will sow and plant for the Christmas harvest, and we could lose the lot, all because our waterways, the Kashmir Stream and Heskar River, is not doing what it should be doing, is removing stormwater. The next section, I thought, it's not written here, I thought this place was a great place to live, to bring up my family. So we built our dream home on our Maha Garden land in year 2000, and there was no flood zone or any kind of stormwater flooding, no flood zone, and any kind of stormwater flooding in those years was only minor. We chose this land because it had great potential for growing quality vegetables, and the soil is the best you can have, plus other excellent features. Now, if I missed anything here, let me think. If we go to page number, it's actually page number 23. It's not 23 pages, it's actually page number 23. And it'll show you that the quality veggies, page 23, 24, 25, 26, it will show the quality of the veggies we grow. We can't grow this kind of quality veggies now because of all this flood water that's happening to us. All right. Now, on the next page, page 2, this section here was the dealing with the City Council. I'm not saying it's your lot of City Council, it was the previous City Council, Bob Parker and them. We told the city plan in 2002 there would be problems. This is how far back it was before we had these stormwater flooding problems, that was flooding in our area. It was only small at the time, but now it has escalated. And in 2008, Variation 48 was put upon us, and we ended up in Environment Court fighting for our livelihood. Variation 48 was about how we control stormwater. This is the turning point where things go wrong, and the city had adopted their method to control stormwater. Their plan was to hold back stormwaters and ponds all around us, which they have done now. They've got ponds all around us, to reduce stormwater flooding in our area. Instead, it is causing more flooding, higher water table, and now, what happened now is small rainfall is now producing 100-year flood levels, as you mentioned in the newspaper. In Variation 48, our submission from our engineer, Warren Lewis, put forward a number of proposals to help reduce stormwater flooding in our area and other areas. I have these printed sheets, and when you read them, you wonder why the city plan is building all these ponds at a huge cost and needing continuous maintenance. At that time, in the time we put the submission in, Variation 48, Warren Lewis had costed all these proposals. Nowhere, and the other thing is that when we went through Variation 48 and through the Environment Court, there was nowhere that the city plan said what Warren Lewis had proposed would not work. Now, if we would go to page number 51, which is not 51 pages, to page number 51, I'll just read the top paragraph. And when I read this paragraph, you understand why did the City Council do what they did. However, it is possible to widen of the above waterway to increase their capacity and therefore eliminate the need for ponding in the rest of the Henderson Basin. Our area was never called the Henderson Basin. It was the City Council, or City Plan should have said, not City Council, City Plan had labelled us the Henderson Basin. And the excavated materials could be used to help to fill the Henderson Pond area to create a valuable residential land. When you see that, there was a possible way of not having those ponds there, and yet the council went ahead and put those ponds there. Now, in my first lot of submission I sent to you in the mail, I actually wrote 1.8 million, but it's actually not right. It was incorrect. It was actually 5 million, so if you read the first part of the ones I sent out, not the one I've given you, the one I sent out to you. Now, if we go back to page 3, that's the one I gave to you. I know it's a bit messy. Now, if the city, this is page 3, the one I handed out to you, if the city plan had included Warren's proposal into their plan to control stormwater flooding, we would not have this high level of flooding that we have at present. If those ponds in the area were not built, say they weren't built, all that money could have gone into upgrading the waterway, the Cashmere Street and Heskett River. What I want now is I want to see some real action, like dredging of the high spots, widening where necessary, I mean just to widen all the river, and removal of trees and shrubs from the floodplain, and construct new floodplains where necessary. I've got a diagram here in the one I sent to you. I showed you, I think it's in this one here, page 4. This is the one I sent in the mail. I think it's page 4. There's a diagram somewhere. Oh no, it's page 5, sorry. And I've constructed a diagram cross-sectional area here where it's keeping the floodplain without these bushes and trees which slow down stormwater. I mean, we design cars to have coefficients, low drag and that sort of thing, but our river and waterway has got everything to slow down stormwater, which I believe is the wrong way of the City Council should be doing things. And now if you go to the one I've given you, I had the one I handed out to you on page 4. This is a copy, page 4 here, there's a copy here showing, I've got a copy of the city plan of how they would build their waterways. And when you look at it, all the floodplains is actually overgrown. You can see the diagram where it's got bushes and all that, all tree planted where that should never happen. Now, if we go back to, on the same section still, let me think what I've done here. What I've done here. Oh, yeah, that's right. If we look at the back here, page number 61, if you go in the back here on the same section, you see a photo there showing this is the waterway. And if you ask me, how do you expect stormwater to flow through there? The floodplains is where the bushes, and then that grass is. All that is part of the floodplain, yet the stormwater has to fight its way through there. The Cashmere Stream, this is from the NINWA report, this is from the NINWA National Institute of Weather. They reported that the coefficient of this river here is actually down to 0.9, where a normal river like Heskett was down to 0.3. This is how much slowing down of the stormwater these sort of reprimanding planting on the banks does. And now, I think that is just about the last thing I'm going to talk about. I think I want to just draw a conclusion what I'm going to say here. Just hold with me a second. Yeah, Waimaha Garden is, what, so far as I'm concerned, is serving the community. This is not written down anywhere. And I believe that I'm playing a very important role, that we're growing vegetables for people to live. And as far as I'm concerned, the City Council really needs to help us. I mean, don't flood us out. I mean, I'm losing so many crops now, it's just not funny. And in the other section, I did write something in here in the first lot. I said to you that if it's possible for me to bring in soil here, what I was thinking here, maybe the City Council can waiver some of the rules that the Variation 48 put in place. The Variation 48 only allows me to put 100 cubic metres of soil per hectare, but that's not going to do anything. Won't help the flooding either, won't help my crops either, but I need to bring more on that. That section there was put upon us by the City Council. Not your City Council, previous City Council, how they planned it. You know, I mean, this, as far as I'm concerned, was quite unfair. If we can't grow vegetable, what's the point? I mean, we've got excellent soil, we've got excellent ground. In the summertime, there's one feature, a lot of people don't realise, that the water table drops 1 metre to 1.5 metres in the summertime. And because of the hills and the floodplain, you don't get a location like this ever anywhere in the whole South Island. What happened here, in the summertime, because of the water table is pulling underneath, you know, it drops 1 metre, you don't need to irrigate your crop as much. If you grow the stuff like rakai, you need to, in the middle of summer, you need to pump the water just on it every day. I don't have to do that. I only need to put the water on maybe just to get the plants up for the first 50 mils. That's how important this ground. This ground is really good ground. If you don't want to save it, I mean, just carry on what you're doing. Let my place flood. And what I want to do, I want to have an answer from you, the councillor. You're the new councillor, and I'm really glad to be here to talk to you. And I hope the new councillor will do something for me. That's all I'm going to say.
Prior to these recent rain events, has your place flooded, or is it just this year that you've experienced bad flooding? That's the first question.
Excavating all the time because the Cashmere Stream, nothing. When it was a Christchurch Drainage Board, they would actually dredge the Heathcote River. You probably would know that. Since the City Council took it over, nothing has been done for the last 40 years. And if you've been down the Cashmere Stream, if you walk down the Cashmere Stream, talking about walking between Westmoreland and their walkway, and you'll see it just absolutely overgrown. I went to the Cashmere Green Corridor, I went to the Heathcote Master Plan, all these run by the City Council. In the Cashmere Green Corridor, what they've done, they reprimanded all the banks, all the floodplain, you see it, as I've shown that diagram there, they just planted out on all these toy things. What's that going to do to the stormwater?
The reason I ask that is because they weren't actually small rain events, they were actually large rain events. As we know, the rain meter was actually giving us wrong readings. So
these rainfall we have now should be only 1 in 10. We are actually getting levels now 1 in 100 in my garden. It went right up to Sparks Road. It doesn't very often does that. And what I mean, it comes right up. I mean, all my Chinese veggies went underwater this year. I went right across like a blanket. I mean, if that Cashmere Stream was flowing properly, it's down to 0.9 coefficient. I think it runs at about, someone said, when the Westmoreland, I talked a bit about the Resource Management Act there, where it should have been kept at that Resource Management Act, the Resource Management Act. It was about 2 metres wide. It's now down to about like 1 metre, and with all the bushes growing in it, if you're lucky, get a 1 metre flow rate. And as far as I'm concerned, that it's not acceptable when it's under the City Council plan.
thank you, David.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for coming, and we buy vegetables off you and know you probably well. It's only a personal thing, but it does seem that the ecology of some of our waterways, and the page 61 is a very good example of it, has overtaken, say, the flood management in some areas of our rivers. But I do think that on page 4, around your property with the drains around there, if you look at page 4, irrelevant of the planting there, if Council, and just as a big if, we're looking at, say, widening those drains along Sparks Road, etc.
I won't do a thing. Won't do a thing. If your main waterway is not flowing properly, which is the Cashmere and Heathcote River, you're going to have problems. I don't know if you heard about the tunnelling. Have you heard about the tunnelling to control stormwater? Have you heard anything about that?
But what is your suggestion with regards to
the Cashmere Stream and Heathcote River? This is the argument with the City Council plan is. They said if we upgrade, this is through all the variation 48, their argument was if we upgrade the Cashmere Stream, we need to upgrade the downstream. So if you don't upgrade the downstream, they're not going to do anything upstream. That's what they said. So one affects the other. I mean, I agree with that. I said, why don't you do both at the same time? They wouldn't reply back. I'm not sure you heard. Can I, have you got another minute? There is another plan. When you read the Warren Lewis script there was a plan to put a tunnel through to Governor's Bay, and that would actually stop all the flooding in this area. There'd be no more flooding, and it would probably reduce the flooding downstream Heathcote River. It was costed at about 60 million. Warren Lewis had done a whole lot of, had proper people doing all the engineering, and had costed at 58 to 60 million. I mean, when you say you're going to spend 60 million down at Flockton Basin, it doesn't sound a lot of money. It probably costs about 100 now, because things gone past from 2008. It probably cost about 100 million. But all the water from this area here for 8,000 hectares, which I'm on the upper Heathcote, it's about 8,000 hectares, probably about 10,000 hectares. All that stormwater could go through there. I mean, a third of the stormwater would less stormwater would go down the Heathcote River, and that would actually stop the flooding in the estuary. It'd probably reduce it by quite a bit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks for hearing me anyway, councillors and Mayor. And Vicky, is it? Is it you, Vicky? Where's Leanne Dazelle? Okay, thank you.